Hello everyone and welcome. We are here, we are live, we are ready to go, and we are picking up exactly where we left off the conclusion of the stream last week with just picking up Javier. Javier was stuck in orbit. I'm not sure if we can still see his little capsule. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. And in order to finish off the contract to rescue him from orbit, we need to just all we have left to do is to return him down to the surface of the Earth. As well, we have this secondary contract to do an EVA, which kind of had to do to get him over here. And all we got to do to finish that one off is also splash down or land somewhere on the Earth safely. And for those people that don't know, this is my Kerbin-sized real solar system series. We are, if I put it in map view here, we are working with an Earth. See, there's South America, North America, and all of that kind of stuff. We are, I'm in an equatorial orbit, but we actually started this from Cape Canaveral up here. And so kind of like real solar systems, there's a moon, there's all the other planets and moons that we're used to from the solar system. Big difference is, of course, that it's Kerbin size. So thought that just because Realism Overhaul, which I do have a series for as well, if you catch those every other Saturday, but the pacing of that is so much slower, and so I made it Kerbin size so that things go a little quicker, and all other kinds of mods there added as well, and the whole list of them is down there in the description, and they are mods that are chosen that you can mix and match them a little bit. Anyway, plan today, well, get Javier down. That's going to be plan number one. Also have up here, I think that's probably, oh no, that's the onion. There we go. We also have Deino's scrap on an almost identical orbit to the one that we're in, so I want to pick that up. Unfortunately, probably getting him would be pretty easy, but this is a one crewed capsule, so we're sort of stuck with that. Also, so I want to do that next. Also, we have here TFSM 389's wreckage. Yes, that is a Kerbal. That is one of my wonderful patrons who are YouTube members. I name my Kerbals after there's the original four, and then everybody else gets named after a supporter of this channel. Not sure if I can get out to him. Might have to build a whole new vessel for that. So sorry, you may have to wait. The other thing I want to get done today is finally get up some SCANSat satellites and start getting those contracts going as well. But we'll start off with getting Javier down here. So what we want to do is, well, we're not going to be coming down near here because I don't have enough fuel to change. Well, actually, I got more fuel than I think I do, don't I? But we'll try and put ourselves down in the Atlantic around here. Not had a ton of practice. Which one? This is us over this way. Oh, sorry. One other thing I just forgotten. We're also collecting science while we're up here. There is the site experiment. That comes from Kerbalism. It's going to take another just under 8 minutes to collect. So actually, why don't we start by collecting the rest of that. Oh, there's our scrap floating around us there. I'll delete that sometime in the future. I figure it would deorbit on its own anyway. So there we go. That site experiment is now collected. It is busy being transmitted down to the KSC, but why don't we look at, you know what, I think I should just go for the Pacific here. It's just such a bigger target, especially down in the around the equator. Not much space there between South America and Africa. So I think what I'll do is just spin this around right now. Oh, I'm still on target mode. Orbit mode. Slap that onto the retrograde vector. And just burn and just come down. I think that's going to be our E. We got tons of delta V. I don't have to worry about things too much. Usually I don't bring my periapsis as low as this, but we'll just get her done. That'll do it. Okay. And then I always like to sort of push the service module up to the side. Now I do want to make sure, I think all of my science is in the pod. Yes, none of it's behind. So we will stage that. And now we have absolutely no SAS or anything. But thankfully this whole ball is covered with a blader, so, and the parachute just armed. So from here on in, we're just a projectile. And hello, Ox5, I am doing very well. And Gem Weaver, welcome as well. And Andrew and Vincent, thank you as well for joining. And one of the things while this thing is making the plummet that I did hear pretty loud and clear is to cool it a little bit with the KOS. Watching over the stream last week, I realized I went a little bit too crazy with the KOS. For those that don't know, KOS is Kerbal Operating System. It is a scripting language that you can use to program your rockets in Kerbal Space Program, which I think is pretty awesome. I try to do most of the programming outside of streaming time, but I like to show a little bit during the stream, but I think I showed a little bit too much, especially when the fact that when I bring up the actual Visual Studio, which is what holds the where all the programming lives, I'm very bad for forgetting to close that window again. And when that's kind of hanging around, it's a little it gets a little annoying, and I understand that. Oh, that's a bit iffy, you think, coming down as hard as I did? We'll find out. I've never had issues with these spherical capsules. It does orient itself in a retrograde direction eventually. So it's obviously weighted a little bit that way. Hello, Philip. Welcome. Glad you can make it. We'll see how it goes. Certainly don't want to lose my first potential rescuee. All right, so here we go. In here, I can monitor the ablator. Where's the ablator? Ablator's here. That's electric charge up at the top, dwindling quickly, but that's okay. I think we're okay. Yeah, leaving a little more time warping here. And we'll get this down, and then we're just going to send up an identical craft to this one and pick up Deino. And then we'll get going on the SCANSat. And that should largely, cover it for today. All right, everything's looking pretty good. Hello, Lafayette. Hope I said that right. So where did we end up? Atlantic's just a nice big target. Yep. Coming down. Or not the Atlantic, the Pacific, of course. Especially with these roundy ones, I really, really distaste putting these anywhere but in the water because, as seems pretty obvious, they have a tendency to roll around on you. And if they're on the side of a hill or something like that, they can be problematic. Yeah, I get that entirely, John. John's saying that in real life, spheres do not handle the heat very well. And I get that. And that's why you don't even the modern, the capsule that comes down, the crew compartment, there's an orbiter sphere. I don't know what the right word is for it, on the Soyuz. But the bottom part that the crew actually descends in, the descent module, isn't spherical. It's got the flatter, roundish sort of bottom. Not quite as much as what you see in the American-style capsules, but definitely not a sphere. Okay, we are down. I guess I just got to recover still. We got our EVA one. And just normal recovery. It's good enough. It's headlight shaped. That's a good description of it, Gem Weaver. Yes, the Soyuz reentry module is headlight shaped. I think Vostok was pretty much a sphere. But I also think they eject. I know with Yuri Gagarin that he ejected from the capsule rather than actually trust the thing. Like there was an ejection seat and the actual capsule crashed. Okay, 40 science. Is that enough for anything? Okay, this whole tier is 30. And, whoa, wait. This is 30. This is 85. Oh, wait, these aren't all the same. Okay, this is 30. This re-entry module. And that is a 2-crewer. That's the P. Oh my gosh, the 2-crewed. To get to the Mark 1, that's the 1-crewed one. But this, oh, I'd love to have a 2-crewed capsule. I think I should work on this. I agree. I think so. That's interesting. I didn't realize. So this is a 30. These are 30s here, but I don't think I need to go planes too much. Oh, or should I? There finally is the TD-12 decoupler. I can't believe that's so late in the game. What else we got up here in the 30s? I don't even have the hammers yet. Okay. Let's get the decoupler. Not having the TD-12, the 1.25 meter decoupler, has been getting on my nerves, so I think I will get that. So we'll get that started. Started in that research. Want to show, so this should be it for contracts. Let's just take a look. Yeah, we recovered that. First EVA, 30, 10 science, 19 reputation, and then some money and reputation for rescuing Javier, who is now enjoying a thorough debriefing from the comfort of his quarantine cell. I have to read that at least once. But we're going to go up and we're going to get Deino, but we're going to put up the identical craft. But there was something that was pointed out in a very useful YouTube comment with this craft. So I just want to... And then I looked at the video evidence, and that this person was exactly right. So this is the Onion 1. This is what just picked up Javier here. And I was showing the engine upgrades, and I wanted to make these engines more reliable, so I went to upgrade them. And it's down... Where is it? Down here somewhere. Here we go. Which gives you more ignitions. You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, it's on the standard quality, but you can also do it to high quality. And what I did during the stream when I was building this is I changed it to high, and then I went over to the one on the other side, and I changed it back to standard because these two are on with symmetry. So that was just dumb. But I don't think these outer ones need to be high. I think they can be standard. But the middle one, well, yeah, I'm going to just make the middle one high. Just the middle one. That should be enough. That should be it. Okay. So anyway, let's save that. Let's add it to the plans, because I just made a very subtle change. And I'm going to build 2 of these. 1, 2. Should have one of these in reserve, to be quite honest. I'm really bad for building something. I should always have something being built right after whatever's being currently built. Actually, I have 2 building bays too. Oh my god, I'm really not that good. So now we should have, if I take a look at the VAB, yeah, we have 2 things here being built. I have 2 bays going. They're both going to be built together. And then we'll keep 1 in reserve, which is probably not a bad idea anyway. So yeah, let's get something going. So that is reconditioning the launch pad, and now I'm researching decoupling. That's only going to take just under a week. And then it's going to be, oh, just 4 more hours. These don't take very long. And both got built at the same time. But what we'll do is we will roll just one of them out. And yeah, let's roll it out. Let's launch it. And let's get to the daytime. I don't want to launch at night. And we will launch. And we'll remove Jebediah because it's got to go up empty. That's good. Launch. Launch, launch, launch. And oh, I got to remember as well to go and check for contracts. I'm really, really bad for that. For forgetting to check for contracts all the time. Just want to kind of get going. Okay, so here is that and that. Let's get our contract set up. Rescue Deino. And Deino arrived in the chat The real Deino, yesterday, and said, please rescue me, and then I didn't. So I'm a terrible person. So sorry, Deino, if you're out there and hearing this. Okay, Orion that. Now, it is a little trickier. We'll go through this again. And what makes it trickier is these are the standard stock contracts that put them in an equatorial orbit, which when you launch in the stock gaming, you're launching from a launch site on the equator. That makes your life pretty good. Actually, that's the wrong one. This is the right one. There we go. But unfortunately, we're not on the equator. We're up here at Cape Canaveral, 28 degrees latitude. And I tried to perform last time what's often called a dogleg maneuver, but I think what I'm going to do is not bother with any of that, and I'll just make an inclination change normal like. So I do want, though, to launch a little bit ahead of Deino. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to time warp, because the idea is to be a little ahead of him, and then we'll slow ourselves down through some orbital trickery. And we'll catch up to him, because he's in a very low orbit. Like, what's that? 82 by 80. You know, I don't want to try and sneak in below that orbit. So I would say about here. I think that works pretty good. Yep. Okay. And I do have an orbit script. Oops. Onion info. There we go. Oh, do I not have a signal? Why don't I have a signal? Do I not have electricity? Okay, let's launch this and see if this will work. Run orbit. I should have electricity through signal loss. Why is there a signal loss? Hang on, hang on. I have electric charge. I am very, 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 very confused. There should be antennas. I have no information about this. What is going on? I have electricity. Why do I not have a signal? It's saying I need a Kerbal. Does this version not have... Oh, for goodness. I think this version doesn't have... Okay, let's recover. No, that's not what I don't want to revert the flight. I just want to recover it this way. Somehow I think I got a version that doesn't have a probe body in it. Yeah, I know I need a probe core, but I could have sworn I put a probe core in there last week. So there's no probe core in there. I'm completely befuddled on that. Yeah, I don't think it has a probe core. But I don't know why or how that happened. Because I could have sworn I put a probe core in there. But maybe I never saved that rocket. That seems very likely. That seems very like me. Thankfully, we got another one just sort of sitting here. So let's edit that one. I must have put in the probe core and never saved it. That would be my guess. Okay, let's look. I know exactly where the probe core would be. It would be hiding right here. No, this is clearly the older one. It's got the goo on it and everything. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This is the one I put up to collect a whole bunch of science. Alright. So it's got a materials bay. That doesn't need to be on there. It does need the extra reaction wheels. It's probably got hydrogen and oxygen to run a fuel cell. It doesn't need that. It doesn't need this fuel cell. Wow. Monoprop's a good thing for it to have. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I'll have to, unless I saved it as, what's in my plan? Oh no, that's not what I want. No, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Okay, close that. I think this should just fly. I don't think it should be a problem. Let's just check launch thrust await. Launch thrust awaits are fine. Everything's fine. Let's just do it. Let's just save this as is. I'm thinking, am I forgetting anything? Yeah, I should have named it Rescue, but I don't know what I did. Yeah, did I save it under a different name? I don't remember either. I think I'm okay. This is still standard quality. This one I think I upped to the high quality. Okay, let's save this. And save these edits. That's going to take a little bit. Oh, did I? I never put it in. I tore things out, but never put in the bloody probe core. It still doesn't have a probe core. I did everything else. Oh my gosh. I tells ya. I tells ya. I tore stuff off but didn't add anything. Okay, let's get rid of this checklist. It's just in the way. Open you up. All right, so in here, I want to keep those and I want to keep those, and I don't even need the antenna, so that can go. And I got the octo and the hex. It's the hex that's the better one, right? I'm often forgetting which ones. Yeah, I think the hex is the better one. So put that there. Maybe put a battery under it. Why not put a battery under it? Put in these reaction... Actually, no. Put the reaction wheels under it. There should be... They fit under there well. Yeah, that works. Monopropellant. Throw those away, but then a couple of just regular batteries. And we'll just sort of tuck those in a little bit so they're not clipping out. And there, and close, and yeah. That looks better, right? The octo's better than the hex? I always forget. The hex is more expensive. Oh well, we'll leave it. I'm not. I don't. It's gonna work, I think. So save that. Save that. Okay, and yeah, once I have the two crude one, this gets easier, doesn't it? So that now is going to take a couple of hours. I do have, just amuse me for a while. I don't need the antenna. Oh, I do need an antenna. No, I don't. Or do I? Oh my gosh. I took the antenna off, but now, you know what? Maybe I should put the antenna on because I am going to transmit some science. You know what my problem is? Well, I have lots of problems, let's be honest, but playing this at the same time I'm playing regular RP1, I get mixed up because they're similar enough to confuse me. And so I get mixed up with what's an RP1 thing and what is just a regular normal Kerbalism thing. Closing that. Saving that. But what I wanted to look at is, oh shoot, I know I didn't put that on the one that's actually being built. I do have an Orion. Oh wait, there's an Orion 2? Ah, that's the one. There's an Orion. Okay, so there is another one. It's called the Orion 2. What a rockhead. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the plans. That's what happened. What a McMillan head. Okay, I'm just checking engine qualities. Oh, this even has a bigger engine on the bottom. Look at this thing's like way better. I'm worried Orion 1 can't even... No, I had to build something to make the inclination change. Oh, okay. Now everything's making sense. I gotta build this. Oh, for goodness sakes. I built the wrong rocket. Oh my gosh. So I did save it under a different name. I did make all the changes, but look how much better it is. I don't think the original Orion has the ability to get in there and make that 28-degree plane change either. I don't think it has the DV for it. So what we're going to do, I guess we'll time warp. Well, or keeping our engineers busy at the very least. We're going to scrap this one because it's doing nothing. We're going to build the Orion 1. And we'll keep it in storage. And I'm sorry, I was just about to say I should build something else, but you know what? I want to launch something, so. Naming things after the capsules instead of its purpose is a habit you have. Maybe I need to break that habit. I think you're right. Because I clearly got mixed up on that one. All right, let's just launch it. Again, no Jebediah. All right. It's a good thing it didn't launch because I don't think it would have worked. It's the semi-more realistic. It depends on how realism you want to go, how realistic you want to go there, Kaboy. I'm going to go with that. So it's a little more realistic. It's got life support involved, takes some time to build things, engines can fail, but the scale of it is still a Kerbin scale, if that makes sense. Like the size of the Earth here is the same as the size of Kerbin. So sort of a step between. So anyway, this should hopefully, now I got a signal. Oh my gosh, what a start. Okay, here we go. So we are looking again for Deino's scrap. Let's set that as a target. And I'm just going to launch. I think I'm pretty happy with kind of where we're at. So let's just do it. And the sun's about to set anyway. So we're going to run our orbit program. And we're off. And there we go. Yeah, I'd forgotten I had to jack this thing up to make the plane change. So it's got the Kodiak engine on the bottom rather than the... Before it was just 3 swivel engines all in a row. Or maybe there was a Reliant there, I can't remember. Yep. So maybe renaming these a little bit. Maybe even just in brackets. What they're for. I don't know. But anyway, we're off eventually. Eventually we get this thing off the ground. You're very welcome, Kaboy. I wouldn't be doing it if they weren't fun to make. Okay, so we are off to rescue Deino, and then we're going to build ourselves some SCANSat satellites. Alright, about to lose our radial SRBs here. Or no, not SRBs, they're liquid fuel radio boosters. And there they go. Boom. Now we're on to... Now it's all coming back to me from last week, because I remember I built this more powerful rocket, but it had stability issues. And then it ended up putting the fairing around the top of it, and everything was way better. And just to remind, so it's my orbit script here that's reducing the throttle, and it's going to keep the time to apoapsis at a constant 55 seconds, which I really like. But I tried last time to attempt to do what's called a dogleg burn, which is to burn in such a way so that your apoapsis comes down and meets your target orbit at the equator. So that when you go to do that circularization, it's a combination orbital insertion and plane change, and that combining burns together like that will save you fuel. I just found I couldn't get my apoapsis down to here without raising up my periapsis so much that I was virtually in an orbit anyway. So I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to go into a straight. Insertion, and we'll make the plane change. Yeah, I did check where the target was. Thank you. The target is right here, right? There's Deino's scrap. So we're significantly ahead, but that's okay. That's not a problem. But I should have maybe time warped a little bit further, but I knew the sun was setting, and I didn't want to spend too much time in the dark. I had one series, speaking of naming, from way ago, where I named everything after historical famous scientists and mathematicians, starting like with Babylonians, I think, and Egyptians and stuff like that. I just had a list, and so I had all these names like the Aristarchus and stuff like that, and talk about not remembering what any of them were for. That was certainly it. Oh, I should stage that fairing. I thought I was going to do it automatically. It should be on a 5. Yep. Should have done that. There we go. All right. And so this little orbiter here will finish off this insertion, and then we'll make the plane change. This is KSP1, yes. Well, I'm sure everyone by now has heard the news of KSP2 and their development problems and company problems that I don't want to get into, but it definitely is not encouraging. I was honestly souring a little bit on KSP2. There were so many bad signs. They were just starting to accumulate too much. As wonderful as the game looked, it still ran really badly. And I will go and do some live streaming with KSP2 when and if there is another update. But I shouldn't prejudice it. So I'll just say I'll do it, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, I think the game looks pretty good. It does have some beautification type of mods. On the parts, it's a mod called just simply Restock, which retextures all the parts. I do have environmental visual enhancements and Scatterer and Planet Shine and some other mods that actually work really well to just make KSP look a little better. The parts, though, are pretty darn close to just stock parts with the addition of the Restock Plus mod. Not a lot of other parts. It is Kerbin-sized real, or I guess it would be Kerbal-sized real solar system. Yes. I can get not liking the KSP. I miss having this amount of detail in the orbital information, though there is some stuff here I don't even understand why it's there. So yeah, I get the UI issues. I can get though why you want to, make it look different. Okay, so we are getting close. Yep. Oh, it's getting set to do its final circularization burn. But that final circularization burn, you know what? I think I'm going to cancel this. Control C. Because I just noticed it's a 1 second burn. It's only 15 meters per second. It's going to have issues doing a burn that small. So we'll just reduce the thrust limiter. Now that burn's coming up in 7 minutes. Where are we sitting here? What about doing it right? Like we're in space. Let's actually do a little bit of modificating here. I'm going to move that burn to here. It's still a few minutes off. I got time. And we'll try and do our plane matching here. See how this goes. Might be able to finagle ourselves an encounter too. Look at that. See that? I see an encounter brewing. I see an encounter brewing. I think I got to switch to this. There's too many icons all down there. Look at that. See, that's... Well, I need more, like that. I got to get these planes matching before I can really get too far ahead of myself. Now it's these second ones. I'll just take a look to make sure that... oh, now it's the first ones again. What is our... Okay, a little more on the plane change part. Well, that's making it worse. Okay. Look at that. 3.7. I can definitely finagle that. Even though I paid no real attention to my altitude, I'm pretty pleased with how this is shaking out. So a little bit of modifying. There we go. 3.6 kilometers. We have a 0.3 inclination difference after this burn. What I'm doing is I'm pushing my apoapsis up enough so that we're slowing ourselves down so that by the time we do another orbit, we're going to be running into, well, hopefully not literally running into, but rendezvousing with Deino right around there. So that's looking pretty darn good. Oh, I got to increase this thrust limiter now. Now this is a much, much bigger burn. And actually, let's open up. I should, if I go to here, have an maneuver executor. Execute maneuver. Hopefully this will work this time. There it goes. Nice. So now that this is a much bigger burn because of the plane change, my KOS program will handle it without an issue rather than doing it manually. All right. Well, there is no, somebody's asking in real life burns, do they make sure the orbit is correct without having to do corrections? But in the real world, unless you are launching from the equator, you cannot launch directly into an equatorial orbit. You're going to have to make a correction like this. There's just no way around it. That's just reality. You cannot launch into an orbit whose inclination is lower than the latitude of your launch site. So this is a real world concern if you're going to launch from somewhere like Cape Canaveral. There we go, starting to burn. I was worried a little bit. It started a little late. My calculation's a little different for the burn time than the game's calculation, but they're close enough to each other. But no, this is a real thing. Now, I could have launched from a launch site that's on the equator, and that solves this problem, but okay, it's not, you know, and one of the things I think about with KSP2, and maybe it has to do with just being down this road so many times when, you know, follow-ups come up to things that I really enjoy, is however good or bad the follow-ups are, and of course you can think of movies and games and stuff from your past where there's been follow-ups that have been very disappointing, that doesn't change the original. And in my mind, we still have KSP1. If KSP2 turns out to be a dud and a bust, then that's what it is. But that shouldn't affect your enjoyment of what you already got. At least that's the way I look at it. Okay, we're coming towards the end of this burn. And then I'll have to check I should be able to check here, actually, what our... Okay, it stopped the burn. Here it's saying we got saying 665 kilometers. What do we got? Oh, it's not showing that second one. Did I overdo it or underdo it? Ah! Let's time warp a little bit. I got a feeling once I get past this one... There we go. There we go. Okay, now we can take a look at this. Do I need to burn more or less? Okay, there we go. Just need to burn a little bit more. Let's get back onto here. I'm going to just lower this thrust limiter and really try and fine-tune this one a little bit. So I'm looking at the intersect distance down here. I could be looking here too, of course, since I'm in map view. So I'm just bringing that down as low as it'll go. Nope, it started going up. So let's cut that. Okay. I see 4.5 kilometers. That should be good enough. We'll... Whoa. I started time warping when I hadn't quite settled down into... It kept on moving on me. We'll go to this view too. We'll time warp here a little bit, get ourselves into the sunshine, get ourselves about... Which is our target? This is our target? Yeah, that's Deino's scrap. And here you can sort of see what's happening. We're coming up, we're in a bigger orbit, so we're going to be going slower. And that's going to allow Deino to come around and catch up with us. But around a quarter of an orbit ahead of this this encounter, I'll make a correction here. Always find that's a good place to do it. Yeah, let's pause it here. Or not pause, but just slow things down. Add a maneuver. Okay, let's play around with... Let's actually do this on a fine scale. Does normal up make it better? It makes it better. So we'll do some normal... Positive normals. Oh, that's starting to get worse. So then we'll do a little bit of... Did I do radial or retrograde? Oh, retrograde makes a big difference. Oh, that made too much of a difference. All I'm doing is looking at this number here and seeing, does this make it better or worse? If it makes it better, I just give it more of that. Oh, I'm looking over at this side now. It just switched to intersect 2. So, started getting worse. So back to the normal. That's making it better. And 300 meters, 200 meters. Oh, that's starting to get worse again. You know what this vessel doesn't have is RCS for really fine. That's good enough. 58 meters. So I got this burn coming up in just a little bit. Let's time warp to that. I recommend a thermal view. I have no idea, Nathan, what thermal view is. What is thermal view? Stick that onto... Or do you mean like whatever it is, like when you do this? Thermal view? Okay, we got a few seconds to the burn here. Not going to give it a lot of throttle. I think that's heavier going below us right now. No rush. Okay, we're under a kilometer. Oh, I gotta be careful too with how many ignitions do I still got? I got 17 ignitions. There is a limited number of ignitions, so I gotta be... Oh, okay, that's it. Stop it. Not quite what I wanted, but it's good enough. Okay. Hook this on the target, get ourselves a little closer. Yes, the thermal view. So this is thermal view like this. Oh, so when you're in the night side, that you can see it a little better? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Weird time warping thing. I don't like that. Weird time warping thing. Okay, let's time warp to we're a couple of minutes away. Yeah, it's 7 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, just spin. That's better. That is a weird time warping thing it does. So I'm just here looking at my time to intercept. 4 minutes. 3 minutes. Stop this. Stop this. Oh, now it's 22 seconds. What the heck? Ah, burn, baby, burn. I don't even see where it is, but I'm just going by the numbers. Cut. Where is it? We must have been really close. Oh my gosh. That was a panic. The numbers here were lying to me. Okay, let's aim at our target and I slowed down a little too much. Actually, maybe not. Let's go back. Because we're approaching at a reasonable clip. Let's see here. Does this make it better? Yeah. No, it makes it worse. Shoot. Maybe I'll do this with a node. There's our intercept way over here. Alright, so sorry about that. What's our periapsis? Our periapsis is in the atmosphere. Oh my gosh, I really botched this. Okay, our periapsis is 61 kilometers. So what I'm considering... Again, let's look at our ignitions. 14 ignitions. Okay, let's get our periapsis up a little bit. And this is just brute forcing that periapsis up. Maybe a little more prograde's a better idea. Yeah, that's a little better. Alright, I'm comfortable with that. Now it's at 66 kilometers, but... Ow! It's the Timewarp Trap, yeah. So, all I want to do is get my periapsis up high enough that I can get through without losing too much orbital altitude, and then we'll reassess. There, we're now in the atmosphere. We'll reassess, let's point prograde to at least minimize our drag. We'll reassess our situation on the other side, but... I got caught in the time warp trap. Now, I don't know. We're around it. It's still around us somewhere. I just want to get out of the atmosphere. And then, okay, these encounters here are still ahead of us, so I think I can still finagle this. Boy, you can see my apoapsis dropping. If that drops below 80, I'm in a lot of... Or below 70, I'm in a lot of trouble, but I don't think it will. Jason Barr rescue. I'm not quite sure as to the reference for that one. Okay, we're coming back up now. Still ahead of us. And we're still catching up to it, so... Oh, the sun's coming up too, so that's nice. And time warping as fast as I can. In real life, they don't launch into... I'm sorry, I'm not sure, Jack, what you mean by a direct insertion. So if you mean directly into an encounter, into a rendezvous, then definitely not. That is not the normal way in which they do it. Okay, back in space, back in space, back in space. But given, again, I'll just say it once again, trying to get into low Earth orbit, launching from Cape Canaveral, forces you to make a plane change. Forces you to, in one way or another, you have to make it. You cannot go directly into an equatorial orbit, launching from anywhere else but the equator. That's just reality. That's just life. Physics just won't let that happen. Okay, I gotta somehow make this better. Okay, that's making it better, right? Maybe? Might have to use some radialness here. Oh, this is way too small. Nope, it's getting worse now that way. This way. When's this burn coming up? I think I got to get some radial going. Yep, but I think it's got to be radially in. I'm using a maneuver node because I don't want to guess which way to burn. Oh, the way they're jumping around is getting on my nerves. Here we go. Because I have limited ignitions. Okay, I saw 1.7 kilometers. Yeah, and then normal. One thing to look at with the normal is if the AN and DN are near where your encounter is. If they are, then you're doing a good thing. There we go. I got 100 meter separation. Let's do this burn. My periapsis is still in the atmosphere, but it's behind us, so that should be okay. And, oh shoot, the burn's behind me. Let's just really quickly fix that. I should have to go to this view. Okay. Okay, let's get her done. And next time I'm going to be careful with my time warping. Next time I'm going to be careful with that time warping. So, yeah, that wasn't actually an inspiring rendezvous, was it? Okay. I got 720 meters. That's good enough for now. And this time, so when you know what? I'm going to time warp from out here. I'm noticing it's not really changing. But sometimes these encounters change when you time warp. That's what got me, I'm pretty sure. And then I did a panic burn. There. See how they change? And if I take the time warp off, they bounce back. So it's saying this right now. It's in 2 minutes and 58 seconds. And as soon as I time warp, they change. Very annoying. Okay. Oh, this should be on target, silly. We'll get to you eventually, Javier. Where is he? Thankfully, you have a lot of Delta V. That is really what's saving my butt. How many ignitions left here now? 11 ignitions, so let's be calm about this. Let's do a little burn. Okay, that's bringing down the encounter distance. I'll cut that. And we'll bring down this thrust limiter again. Whew. When time warping, click on the orbit and warp to here so it doesn't cause that issue. Yeah, I've also used, if you use alarm clock, it can you can avoid the issue too. If you use alarm clock and time warp to, you know, say time warp till 3, you know, use the alarm clock and get the maneuver indicator. Here, add an alarm, click on maneuver indicators and say stop like 3 minutes ahead of time. That prevents it too. It's just sometimes I get lazy. We all get lazy sometimes. Should be better now. Now, I had a whole plan to get into high space with this mission too, because I do have some science to do in high space. I'm debating, though, whether to just launch another spacecraft for it. And I think I should. And just get Javier down. All right. Less than 30 meter separation. Oh, this stuff comes up because Deino just got, I said Javier, but Deino just got rendered. And it says like, oh my gosh, he's out of all of these things. And then suddenly it says, relax, he's okay. So it's sort of funny. That's Kerbalism panicking when he first renders. That it thinks that he doesn't have any of those supplies. And then it turns out, oh no, wait, hang on. It's okay. He does have all those things. We're all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to scrap the high space portion of this mission. I think we got... I'm worried about getting them to high space and then not... I'll launch a fresh vehicle. I think that's a better plan. Okay, a little bit more burn in here. Pushing that retrograde towards the anti-target icon. Beautiful. Oh, is it Javier instead of Javier? That's entirely likely on my part. Alright. Again, funky time warping things happening. Oh, I think I know why then when I time warp why this happens. It's because I am locked to the anti-target icon, retrograde icon relative to the target, and I think what's happening is it's locked on that, and so it's jumping over to that. Well, we're there now. What's our orbit look like? Oh, we must be in a good orbit because Javier was in a stable orbit to begin with. So our orbits are fine. Our orbit's now fine. There we go. That's good enough. All right, let's get over to Javier here. Or Deino. I keep saying that. Deino. We just read. And Deino's another scientist. So we got lots and lots of scientists. So I guess there's that. Okay, we're going to EVA. Put on our lights. Oh, let go. Oh, RCS on. And there we go. No, he's not letting... Let go. Okay, let's get out of here. Where is our ship? Right above us. Right above us. Whoa, what happened there? Sorry. I'm having... I'm having keyboard issues. I just changed screens rather than work my RCS buttons. Which I'm sure which you guys wouldn't have known, but all of a sudden my screen disappeared because I think I just hit Alt-Tab rather than... I don't know what I did. Oh my gosh, what is there? I have fingers everywhere right now. Down. Get in there. Grab and board. Okay. And it always does that. That's this IVA mod. I don't know. Maybe I should get rid of it. But anyway, she is aboard. Contract now is saying we just got to get her down. By the way, the science I was thinking about, if I filter what's on the current vessel here, we have this sight and light experiment, both of which, but the sight is biome specific space high, and I have the light experiment, which I can take up to space high, but I don't want to push my ignitions that close to 0, so I think the better plan is just to come down. I am just ready to come down. So where are we going to come down? Where are we going to come down? I don't want to come down at night, so we're going to come down in the Indian Ocean over here. That's what we're going to do. Is this us? That's us. We're going to land on the opposite side, and we're going to count on our allies giving us a bit of a hand. There we go. Lock that on retrograde. Okay. And the recovery, I think, is a little bit more if I do this, but I just don't want to come down at nighttime. A little more. I have that throttle limiter down too far. Alright, 35 kilometers seems good to me. Hello, is it Astro Cricket? Welcome. Okay, feels like the sun's coming up. Indeedy it is. So let's get Deino down. And call this and get going with some SCANSatting. Okay, and stage. Well, thank you, Joseph. Did you say what your real life profession was? I am a retired math teacher, is my real life not profession, I guess, because I'm retired. And now I'm doing this mostly for fun. All right, let's get you down there, Deino. And so we picked up 2 more scientists. Thing is, Bob hasn't even been in space yet. One thing Kerbalism does is it really kind of makes the scientists not really that necessary, because all this science can be collected automatically. You don't need, and scientists don't do a lot for you until you start getting labs and that kind of stuff. DeWolf, I could not have said that better. All the wonderful modders that exist for KSP1 that have done nothing but extend the shelf life of this game. Every time you play it, it can be a completely different experience for you if you want it to be, just by putting in different collections of mods. So yes, the modders are wonderful. Okay. Ah, there is a mod that adds a bunch of Kerbalism experiments to the labs to give the scientists more to do. That would be nice. But I'm not at that point yet. We'll have to look up that mod. The one thing I find sometimes with Kerbalism, depending upon what you have packed with it, sometimes you can find yourself rather science-starved. I've had games where suddenly, like, it becomes so much work just to get more science and unlock more tech. Oh, excellent, Astrocritic. Or Cricket. How old am I? I am 60 years old. I turned 60 years old just a little over a month ago. All right, so there we are. Deino has now reached the surface and recover. Normal. Okay, so where are we at? We got to do some SCANSatting. That's what we're going to do. Fellow old fart out there. Good. So a little bit of confusion with my, mostly due to vessel naming. But what I want to do is get into making us some SCANSat type stuff. Okay, so let's build finally a SCANSat type satellite. All right, so get rid of this guy. Get rid of the checklist for now. Go away. And we'll take a look at contracts. So I do have 2 contracts. They've been sitting around for a while for a low-resolution altimetry scan of survey of Earth and a multispectral SCANSat survey of Earth. I don't know why that was hard to get out. And they're 2 bits of scientific science equipment here. Let's throw out the hex probe here so we can just take a look at them. I'm going to try and build... SCANSat and Kerbalism makes SCANSat a tad more tricky. So this is the radar altimeter. That is for this first one, the low resolution altimetry scan. And this is the multispectral analyzer, which scans for biomes. So it produces a biome map, which is just absolutely awesome. In fact, when you Google biome maps and look at images, good chance the images you're going to be seeing were produced by this fellow right here. And it's really tempting to stick both of them onto the same satellite, but the thing you got to be really careful about, let's turn them both on and I'll show you what I mean. If I turn this on so it's simulated in the planner, and turn this one so it's simulated in the planner, I am now consuming 1.775 units of electric charge per second, and I'm pretty sure my ability, like I got these, what can these ones do? Well, these ones are 2.8. So I'm going to send it up in 2 different probes, because there's not just that, but there's a ton of data. Does it talk about the data? That's the other I find that it's... the amount of data that's required can be quite shocking too, and there's no information about that here. So, and then your probe gets filled. So what I think I'm going to do is do this as 2 separate ones. So we're going to put this on. We're going to put this on like so. And what I think I shall do is pick myself an antenna, because all this science is going to have to be transmitted home. But I'm going to pick an antenna based on speed. And I think the fastest antenna I have is this HG5 antenna, which transmits at, here it is, 5.44 kilobytes per second. It's way faster, yeah, more than twice as much as the Communitron 16. So I think I'm going to stick this on here as well. This is just temporary placement for now. And we're going to simulate that in the planner, yes. And we're going to simulate the transmitting in the planner as well, yes. And so I need to produce now 1.084, well, plus units of electric charge. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do, and you saw a little picture of a guess at what I was going to do in the on the thumbnail for this video. But so I've already put a little bit of thought into this. I'm going to grab these Ocstat panels, and I'm going to go to 6-way symmetry. And I don't think... Yes, I can upgrade these. Okay. So I've been upgrading engines, but you can also upgrade solar panels. But let me see here. So right now I'm producing, and it's taking into account that some of them will always be pointing away from the sun, only 0.48 units of electric charge. But if I upgrade them, it's still the same. I thought so. So all the upgrade does is make it so that instead of lasting a little over almost 4 years, they'll last over 15 years. I don't care about that. This satellite's not going to last that long. So we'll keep them on standard. But what I need is more of them. So I'm going to copy this, put that up top. Now I'm generating that much solar panel. Okay, we're going to copy this. We'll put some down here. What I might just do, that way they're nicely... Oh, this works. Like so. 1 point... Oh, whoa, now I'm getting into the ballpark. Take those off. Nope, that's... I shouldn't have took those off. There, little tower of these. Like that, and then we'll use the move tool. Just kind of slide them out so they're not clipping into each other. And if you find you can't move any further, hold the shift key and you can move as far as you want. So like that. And like that. And like that. And I might modify that in a little bit. I could maybe take this one, which is sort of clipping into the antenna, just remove the symmetry and move it a little bit So there's room for the antenna there. That looks okay. And now I'm generating 1.248 units of electric charge. I'm consuming 1.804 or 0.84. But I also need electricity because if I go into the dark, I'm only going to last for 54 seconds. And I definitely want to last longer than that. So let's grab one of these. Now these guys are also upgradable as long as you've unlocked the appropriate tech. Yes, there is an energy density. So right now they're at 50% energy density, but I can increase that, which I'm assuming means, yes, it adds 20 units to the cost to 75% energy density. And now this battery is 150 units of electric charge. That will last for 3 minutes and 13 seconds. So that's not enough. I probably should last for about 20 minutes to survive the dark side. I think technically it's maybe about 15, but I might change this up a little bit. That's pretty close. Now let's go a little further. There we go. So how many units of electric charge do I have on here now? About 1,200. You know what I think I'll do then? As carefully as I was placing all those, let's replace this with a tower of these. Can't pick that one up. Tower those, and then maybe take the very top ones off. And again, increase the density on those. That's 21 minutes of electric charge. We can probably... What if I went to more symmetry? 8-way symmetry. Like that. And then we'll remove this one. I'm thinking it just, like, I don't want these clipping into parts and stuff. Remove that one. And again, slide these out. So we're getting kind of a basic one. Still haven't done propulsion yet. That's still to be thought of. Might just put the antenna right on top now that I'm looking at this. One thing at a time. Now that can go away. I don't know if this scans at night. That's a very good point. It might. Does this scan? Yeah, not all the scanners. That's a very good point. The scanner may turn off at night, which means that I think because it's a radar altimeter, I suspect it runs all the time. It does not require daylight. See the little X? So this will run at night, so I do need the batteries. But that is a very good observation. This one requires daylight, and so won't turn on at night, which means I don't need as many batteries. So thank you. That is a very good and helpful thing to notice for the next one. Okay, but anyway, very roughly, we're getting in the right direction. So the next bit of this is put on some propulsion. Just fiddling now. Does this have different textures? Oh, look at that. You can get very colorful. Oh, that's simple repaint. Let's just leave it as the original. Okay. I have, what's our smallest fuel tank here? I have an Oscar A fuel tank. I only want to put a few 100 meters per second. Well, if it does the top part of the insertion, maybe about 1,000 on this. What's a single ant do for me? So that's a very low thrust to weight and not very much fuel. So what if I snuck in an Oscar B on that? Maybe some of those spiders. Well, I don't need... Is there a big weight difference between the ants and the spiders? So the ants are 20 kilograms. The spider... Oh, they're the same. So let's put in maybe some spiders in here. I certainly don't need 8 of them. Well, how about like 3 for now? That's getting into the ballpark of what I need. If I snuck a little guy like that underneath. Yeah, I like it. Okay, let's try and clean this up a little bit. So there we go. We'll put those little spiders there. What does this look like when it's extended? Like that. Now this comes with different variants thanks to restock. I think I might go with that one. Retract the antenna. Yeah, I like that. And this antenna. Oh, I wanted to remove that one solar panel. I don't think it's necessary. And then clips with the antenna a little bit. But now I'm remembering why I put the antenna on the side rather than on the top was because of weight balancing to balance off with the antenna, or with the antenna here. So that altimeter has a mass of 75 kilograms. The Communitron, the HG5 high gain antenna is 7 kilograms, so we might not be too badly off. That might be okay. Okay, let's work with these engines, get them a little bit better in there. So I'm going to look at Kerbal Engineer. We're going to take it off compact here, and we're looking at this torque number here of 0.13 kilonewtons. Might as well balance that, and I'm thinking what might be, although it might look stupid if I do, if I'm not careful with this, is if I grab. Oh yeah, that's right. There's batteries under there. Let's move these down, just temporarily. And again, remove this one. And remove this one. And I might be overdoing this a little bit, that I don't need to do this, but if I just slide this a little bit this way, yeah, that starts to reduce the torque. I saw 0.1 kilonewtons. There. It doesn't even look stupid. It's a little bit offset, but it's not bad. I can live with that. Let's slide these up. Oh, did that. Okay, let's gotta go back to here. That. One last time, remove that symmetry. Remove this symmetry. Ah, shoot. Ah, I did. I right-clicked instead of. Or I left-clicked instead of right-clicked. Remove symmetry. Throw you away. Remove symmetry. Throw you away. Put that back to compact. All right, what do we think? I think this is okay. So this has got about 1,000. So I figure a budget of about 3,800 meters per second should work pretty well for getting into space, or getting into a polar orbit, which is what this is going to have to do. So let's see. We'll get ourselves a decoupler. There we go. Slide that under there. Maybe one of those, just to give it a little bit of height, and then a fairing. I think the 0.6. Well, will this work for me okay? No. Bigger fairing. 1.25 meter fairing. Ooh, can I? No, I have to come out a little bit. Like that. Like that. That. Like that. And we'll stick a booster under it, and hopefully This will all work great. Okay, let's see. What do I got for fuel cans now? Am I working with some decent... No, I still don't have... This is still my biggest... That's annoying. So I'm going to do the same trick I've been doing, which is take the Mark I liquid fuel tank, open up the editor, which comes from Tank Configurator mod. We're going to remove the liquid fuel. We're going to add in... This allows you to change the propellants to whatever you want. And now I got myself a liquid fuel and oxidizer, and it does change it and put them in all at the right ratios. So we're going to go like this. I'm hoping just a stack like this with a swivel on the bottom, and I'm hoping that's going to be it. Bump, 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 bump. Where's my swivel engine? There's my swivel engine. Get on there. There we go. A little bit short, but I still have a lot of fuel, so we can definitely put another one of these in there. There we go. That's plenty. That's plenty. Oh, okay. I got to go a little smaller. That's a little bit too low on the TWR, so I think I'm going to put in one of these ones. How's that look? Beautiful. And TWR is great. Okay, we're going to stick in a large set of advanced inline stabilizer. In you go. Boy, I'm really having mouse issues right now. There we go. And some small tail fins. Oh, these are itsy bitsy. I didn't notice I had itsy bitsy ones, but we'll go with these ones. Like that. Put the boat tail on that. I think that's it. I think this is turning into a rocket, so we'll do that. The engine comes first. Boom, boom. Those two will stage at the same time. We want a smart part to handle the staging right here. Bump, bump. The DrainX smart part. Which is going to go right there. And so it's looking for when does the liquid fuel get down to 0%, and then it's going to do a staging action for me when that happens. I also want to take this guy, take it out of the staging diagram and put it in an action group. I don't know why, but I got into action group 5 being for fairings. And then I think what I'm going to do, because what would be a disaster is if this staged while this fairing had not staged yet, because then this is just going to drive right into the fairing and it's going to be very ugly. So I'm going to get another DrainX fuel part. I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to set this so that when the fuel percentage gets down to, sure, 3%, you're not going to stage. You're going to perform action group 5. So this should fire before this one. So this should ensure that that fairing gets staged before this booster gets staged. That's the idea. Oh my gosh, there. I don't know why I'm having trouble lining that up. And this has got to have a name. It's going to be MapSat 1. Because I have no imagination. Are you using KOS? I will be using KOS for the launch part of this. That's about it. I'm thinking I got a launch TWR 1.33, so I think I'm going to live with that. I'm thinking of giving this guy a go. A little bit of a test. All it has to, yeah. So let's get rid of this. Actually, maybe what I should do, I do have a checklist. Why not use it? So we will change our checklist to a probe. KOS processor. Ah ha ha! That's what somebody was mentioning. Are you going to use KOS? I am going to use KOS, but only for... Oh, shoot. Oh. I won't be using KOS. because the only... Shoot. Somebody's asking about KOS, but the only KOS part I have is a 1.25 meter part. So it would fit excellent right here, but it won't fit onto this probe very well. I don't have any smaller KOS parts, so I think I'm going to go KOS-less. This is going to go KOS-less. No KOS, so we'll just check those off. Science has been configured. All I want to do is make sure this will come on. I think it will. Yeah. There's nothing to be configured. Experiments will come on. I have to turn them on. Data storage. This is why I have this. So the SCANSat produce a ton of data. So the data gets stored in here, but you can up the capacity of the data by quite a lot, so I'm going to do that. Oh, I have so much Delta V. Oh my gosh. What am I thinking about with my Delta V? Okay, one thing at a time. I think I was looking at... I got 4,838. That's way too much. Okay, data storage is fine. I don't need sample slots. Communication is fine. Electrical storage is fine. Electrical generation is fine. Part upgrading, I'm okay. It's good the way it is. This is a temporary satellite. Attitude control has that. I don't have lights yet. I'm not going to bother with the texturing. Okay. Staging is fine, but TWR, I'm going to have to fix something. Let's take the checklist off. All of a sudden, I'm looking at this Delta V. It's way more than what I need. Like, way more. So let's shorten this up. I set it around 3,800 to get into a polar orbit. So I don't know what I was thinking about here, but we are way, way over that amount. That's good enough. Shouldn't have done so much work with the probe. I should have made the probe actually smaller, I think. But it's okay. It'll all work. Okay, now let's adjust TWR. Yeah, I think if I were to start building this over again, I would build a probe with much less Delta V in it, but I didn't, so... Remove the probe science for weight. What science is in this probe body? That's a good point. There is a temperature scan. Okay, so we can remove that. And the telemetry report can come out. Because those things have been done already in low space. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. So, no KOS. No. We'll do this manual-like. Okay, let's do a simulation, see how this flies. So, simulate down here. What about the site and the mite experiments? The site and the mite experiments, I'm pretty sure, I'll check again, but I'm pretty sure they require a crew. I think that's why they show up on the command capsules. But I will check that. Okay. Oh, maybe put the thermometer back. It's let's see how this flies first of all. So this is MapSat 1, and we're just going to launch and head towards the south. So throttle up. SAS on? Yes, go. So we are off, and we're going to go towards the south and a little bit west of due south, because you need to pull that prograde vector that way. So let's go a little bit this way, a little that way. I got a lot of attitude control. That ain't going to be a problem. Okay, let's lock that onto prograde vector. And we'll watch. We're going this way. And might be falling over a little bit too quickly. Yeah, pretty stumpy little rocket, really, isn't it? Let's lock it back on prograde. Off of prograde. So that sort of holds its attitude a bit. And now back on prograde. I just was falling over, I thought, a little bit too quickly. And we'll also because I can flip over to here, I can keep an eye on my inclination too. Oh, that's not my inclination. That's my inclination. Okay, you can start reducing throttle here as we get close to a minute to apoapsis. I think I'm a little bit too far this way. I really should be more this way. Keep an eye on inclination. Inclination is 87, almost 88. Reduce throttle even more. Back on here. 89 degrees on the inclination. $89 and 90, and now I lock it onto the orbital retrograde vector, and it should more or less take care of itself from there. Can even put less thrust on this. I might stage the fairing a little early. I'll let it go a little higher. But the inclination, see, it's 90.0. Beautiful. Just let that go. I'm going to go for a 100-kilometer orbit. But honestly, I'm thinking I'm sort of at the point where I don't know if I need to do too much more. Let's stage that fairing. That worked fine. How many ignitions are on this guy? 4. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna call it. Let's end our simulation. I think it's fine. I have turned the costs off on simulations. First of all, I don't know. Especially with the fact that I do coding, and there's a lot of simulating involved with the coding to make sure it does what you want it to do. Okay, so this is MapSat 1, so I just turned it off. It got to the point where it was getting too expensive. Okay, so this is good. Let's build this. And then what I want to do is maybe just modify it ever so slightly to take this off. Put this guy on. Hoping I can just stick it into this little spot here. Kind of sits in there all right, I think. I don't need anywhere near the batteries. This is going to be MapSat 2. Because this doesn't run at night. Now, for electrical, let's put this into the planner. Electrical, this consumes 0.834, and we generate... Oh, that's not right. That one's right. So that part's fine, but I don't think I need the batteries because... Yeah, so let's start... Let's see. Why don't we remove that whole stack and go back to the little stack of just these guys. And again, do the same thing of moving them out. But now it'll last for 13 minutes. That's even more than... Maybe take these off. 4 minutes. Okay, put a few back. A few of those ones back. But maybe only 4-way symmetry. It'll last 8 minutes now in the dark. I think that's fine. Because this won't be running in the dark. Well, actually, what I can do is with that off. And now when it's in the dark, it'll last for an hour. So it'll easily survive the night. That's all that matters. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull these out. And this is become lighter, so I got me a feeling this is going to be a much... There we go. A much more... I can get this out. A much more efficient little rocket here. But I'm going to keep the same booster. How's the torque issues? 0.03 torque. So let's just grab this. And do I need to slide it which way? That's worse. There, 0.01 again. Barely see. It barely makes a difference. We'll stick this just simply back on the bottom. I think that's it. I think I'm just going to go with that. There we go. There we go. So this is MapSat 2. Let's save you. What is our launch TWR like? 1.35. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think I'm just going to push this one out. Just make sure the staging makes sense. It does. So there we go. Save that. And we're just going to build that too. Okay. All right. Let's build. Let's build. Experiment. I'm not sure what you mean by... All these are doing is the mapping stuff. There's a solar panel behind the instrument that I mess up on the glitchy part. Did I mess up with my solar panels? Oh yeah, the sight and the might. Sight and the might. So first of all, solar panels. Yes, okay. So let's just take this away for now. There is one very awful looking solar panel right there. You're being removed. Out you go. Okay, so there's that. Again, for the experiments, let's look at these. So the experiments that are available are the telemetry, the thermometer, the Geiger counter. The light and the might are available. But they are not... Okay. 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 Light and the might. Okay, I thought these were... Okay, so I'm definitely gonna... Okay, we'll deal with this. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Filter by... With the might. I've not done any of the might experiment. It is biome specific. This is perfect for this thing. So yeah, you're doing the might experiment. It's biome specific. Okay, and then we also have the sight experiment. I've done all the low space sight experiment and then none. Okay, so I'm going to put that might experiment on it. That's perfect. I'm glad somebody pointed that out. The light's been done, but I'm going to do the might. I've done none of it, and it is right here. It says space low biomes, which means it's biome specific, and this is going in a polar orbit. That is perfect. Let's make sure that experiment is on. Close you. Close you. And that I haven't now... What's my electricity situation? That I haven't added too much of an issue on this. So it'll last 40 minutes a night. That's fine. I think it's fine. Did I start it? I did. Excuse me. So thank you for the person who pointed that out. We'll stick this back under. And I think this is good. Okay, so save that. And I think I'm just going to build another one and scrap the old one. I'm going to put the might on both of those scanners. I agree completely. Oh, the might has inclination requirements. See, this is the thing. Reading. Reading is one of my special non-skills that I have. There is an inclination requirement for the might. But the inclination is that it has to be at least 70 degrees. And so we'll be doing that easy. So there we go. So this MapSat 2 is being scrapped. That's the one that I got pushed out before. This MapSat 2, I'm going to edit it and put the might on it. It's all good. It has a minimum inclination requirement, so we're good because we're going into a 90-degree orbit. It's good that I have all these people looking out after me. I don't know how I get anything done when I'm by myself. All right. So this is the first mapping satellite again. But what we're going to do is just sneak in here. We're going to get that might experiment going. So that is science configuration. Might. There we go. And we'll make sure that is on. And again, I'm going to just assume everything's fine. Save those edits and move on. Okay. As I'm looking at the time, and I want to get one of these up. I want to get one of these up before this stream is coming to a close. All right, so with that all done now, in the VAB, we have 2 mapping satellites being built. MapSat, let's put MapSat 1 first. MapSat 1 takes a little longer than MapSat 2. Isn't that interesting? I don't know why, but it does. So we're going to get MapSat 2 first. Oh, we got an Orion built first. That's the repairs that were done on the Orion. I'm just leaving that alone. There's no more electricity on Deino scrap. Okay, that's... We really don't care about that, do we? Okay, so MapSat 2. What I'm going to do while I'm thinking about it is go to plans and push in another Orion 2 so that will get built. And then maybe I'll end up scrapping the Orion 1. But what I really want to do is roll out MapSat 2. Sun's just about to come up. I think we'll do a launch. We'll launch right into the sun. Actually, this will be like one of them their halo orbits. For a little while, anyway. We're going to be launching right along the Terminator, which is going to work really well. When you launch at either sunrise or sunset, you're going to go right, and if you go north or south, you're going to go right along the Terminator of the planet. And that means we're going to be in sunshine all the way around, which is going to be great, but it just doesn't last. Yes, MapSat 1 has all those batteries. That's why it's taking longer to build. That makes perfect sense. So this is MapSat 2. So it's going to do the multispectral analyzer. There's really not much to it. And it's going to take time. You got to map 75% of the Earth before that goes good. I got so many messages here about stuff that I don't care. Okay. And basically, yeah, we're just going to put on SAS. We're going to punch it. I'm so used to getting KOS going. I just don't need to do that. And we're just going to punch. So, boom. And off we go. And again, I'm going to go to the south. It really doesn't matter if you go north or south. But I'm going to go south. So to the south. And just a little sniffly to the west. And then lock that onto the prograde vector. We'll keep an eye on this. Alright, so this is kind of a carbon copy of what you saw me just practicing. So hopefully this will go alright. It's always nice to keep this locked onto prograde as long as you can. I'm going to just turn off that stability assist for a little bit, or lock it onto its current heading, really. Then go back. I don't want it to drift too far away, just because I'm falling over a little bit too quickly. Go back again. Lock back. Back again. Lock on. And this is just all about keeping it from falling over too quickly. There we go. Okay. That's pretty good. I think, again, I'm coming a little bit too far to the west, but that's okay for now. What's my inclination look like? 85 degrees already, so we'll start coming a little this way. Reduce throttle. Come a little bit this way. Don't want to come too far because I don't want this to flip out. Though we're past that whole max Q business. Sun's coming up. We're at 89.3. Pitch over a little more. Stay a little closer to that prograde vector. What's my time to? That's doing fine. Okay. 89.9. Put you in orbit and lock to the... Whoa, lock to that, you stinker. There we go. Lock to the orbital prograde vector. Okay, now I just got to watch this and watch my apoapsis. It came out. Oh no, it's coming out 90. That's beautiful. Here we go. We got the sun coming up. Wonderful. So we head on south. And again, we're going to go for a 100-kilometer orbit. It does tell you sort of the ideal altitudes and stuff, and 100 kilometers is going to work fine. But if you're looking at the VAB, I never did look at that, but I'm going to stick with that. Again, look at my inclination again. It's gone back a little bit to 89, so maybe come a little bit more westward again. Just kind of hold that. Hold that a little. $90 again. Back on prograde. Oh, it just did that by itself. I didn't do that. That means we're about to run out of fuel, too. Oh, I should watch my apoapsis. Apoapsis. Okay, I need a lot more thrust now that we're on these little spiders. Like I said, I think if I built this again, I would make this much smaller and have the booster do, like, virtually all the work. But this is going to work fine. Alright, we are in space. And that is 100. Or darn close enough. And I think I will do... Let's put let's put a maneuver node here. How far ahead of the time of that? Okay. And we'll push up our periapsis. We'll try and get 100 by 100 here. I can tell I overclocked that a little bit. Play with the timing. Oh my gosh. I think we're really close to the right spot. We'll just do that. At the very least, this gives you a good idea of when to start the burn. So we're going to start the burn in 1 minute and 30-something seconds. In the meantime, I can raise that antenna. Do that. There it comes. I like that little animation. We'll wait till we're in our orbit before I start the SCANSat thing. Put this onto the maneuver node. Oh, I wish I had that smaller KOS core. I should find out where that is in the tech tree. It's not a bad looking guy. All right, where are we? A little bit more. A little bit of time warping. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And we'll take a little bit of a look at SCANSat once we get this started, so people can, for people that have never seen it before, so that they can get an idea what it's about. It's a lovely mod. It's one of those mods I find that I don't want to ever not have. Alright, that's good. That's good. We'll lock that. And let's reorient this. Where's our planet? There's our planet. I find the easiest way to orient stuff when you're in non-equatorial orbits is find that north-south circle. So either 180, like here, that's the south line, or the north line, and just rotate until your vessel, following that circle, until your vessel is straight up and down on the screen. Because on the screen, north is always straight up when you're in orbit mode. And then you get nice solar exposure. Okay, that's good. Let's turn this way so we can see this. So I don't know if there's an animation associated with this guy or not, so we'll just hit that. Doesn't look like it. Just turns on. Nothing happens. So this is now scanning for biomes. And I'm hoping it's not collecting any data. No, the data is not going up. So it's transmitting it as quickly as this is generating it. So that's why I put on this bigger antenna, because I'm pretty sure if I put on just a Communitron, I think I would be collecting data, and then eventually my hard drive gets full, and then that's not fun. So basically, this is now scanning biomes down below, and let's open up SCANSat, and I'll show people what that looks like. So we'll open up SCANSat, bring up this big map view. So this map view is showing us, it shows a waypoint. That's where the KSC was. So the blue orbit's what's ahead of us. The brown orbit is behind us, and we're orbiting like this. And we should, if I do a little bit of time warping, I should be below me scanning biomes. Now I might, do I need to refresh it or something? Because now all of a sudden I feel like I'm not doing anything. Oh, I have to change this to a biome map. Map type biome. That's the altimetry map. Biome map. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't see a map being made. Is this on? Is this on? The Mite experiment is running. SCANSat is running. Nope, it's definitely doing the scan. I'm on the Earth. Okay, you are looking at altimetry. Yeah, I realize that. I'm now going through the chat. It transmitted it. Oh, it transmits it in chunks. So the way it works with SCANSat is it comes in chunks. So we might have to let's do a little more time warping and see if we get a chunk or not. I'm not 100% sure how that all works and how it gets along. I know the science part of it doesn't get along that well with SCANSat, or with the science part of, okay, I got a Mite experiment. Still not seeing anything. So you know what I think I'm going to have to do? Oh, wait a second. What's this? I just did it again. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting it. Okay. So if I take the orbit view off so you can see this. See how it's creating a... So this is Antarctica, I'm assuming. Down here we got an ocean. Looks a little funny. And if you hover over it, if you look down here at the bottom left, you can see those are the biome of the tropics. And I probably can get some... Well, there's some ocean. There's an ice cap. And slowly over time, this will fill up the entire Earth. Right now we're at 2% of the Earth. So basically, very cool little mod. And this map is available when you're away from this probe too, so that you can, oh, you think it maybe wasn't getting enough light. That could have been it. Maybe it wasn't getting enough light. That's very possible. It didn't. Okay. So basically, it's working now. That's great. And when this gets to 75%, this SCANSat's done. It'll continue to do it whether the vessel is rendered or not. So we can leave this and come back and look at it again at a later time. But for now, I think I'm going to leave this. We'll get the other one up at the beginning of the stream next week. So I think I'm going to be calling this one a close. So I'm going to thank everybody that's in the chat. I want to thank everybody who's watching this at a later date. And as always, an extra special thank you to all of my Patreon patrons and YouTube members who help to support this channel. Next week, we'll launch SCANSat 1 or MapSat 1. And I also have to figure out what else the heck I'm going to be doing because I don't have anything else cooking. But in the meantime, thank you, everybody. Have yourself a fantastic week. And we'll see you all next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.